It's a great farming day here. It is 85 degrees today. It's probably going to get up to 87 a little bit later. We're late afternoon, probably 2 o'clock. And Trey is using Dad's tractor, and he didn't want to get another one out right now. So the nice thing about a trailer type hay rake, you can pull it with just about anything. He's out there with his old Chevy Longhorn doing some farm work. It's not tall grass, so you don't have to worry about it getting tangled up in anything in the truck as far as it getting wrapped around your, what's it called, drivetrain. They have the option of running air conditioning. They're just cruising along, probably listening to some AM station. They actually found like a FM station on their AM radio. Jack just hopped in, so they're gonna go for a ride together and get this all turned over. He's done, I think, one pass maybe. So this will get nice and dried out and we can bale it later tonight or tomorrow, hopefully ahead of any rain. There was rain scheduled for today and it got pushed off, and I'm not seeing anything in the forecast right away. It was originally saying tomorrow. We had a small rain run through yesterday for about 15 minutes and it literally missed us by the opposite side of the road. It happens like that all the time. So I am out today watering what's left of our baby pine trees that we planted. Some of them didn't make it through the winter. Some of them didn't make it through the first mowing this year because the grass was high and somebody forgot that they were there. And everything's looking really dry right now. So I'm going ahead, giving them all a drink with the 5-gallon bucket. Look at that. You could be pulling this with, I mentioned before, pulling it with our Suburban. You can load the kids all up and go do it. You can pull it with like a quad or an ATV, a side-by-side, and it gets the job done without a tractor. So I don't know if this one has much of a life left in it, and you just rub your fingers across it like that and they just fall right off. So maybe some new growth will come. This was the weakest of all of them. We always try to plant the weakest ones here on this outside edge. That way if they don't make it, it's not a loss and then you don't have a skip. However, this year we ended up with lots of skips. This one looks like it's totally, no, it's got a tiny little green spot right here at the bottom. So it put out some new growth and everything that was old growth on it just kind of died off. Maybe it'll come back, I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and keep watering it. This generally takes about 6 5-gallon buckets to do all of what was here, but I'm definitely gonna have some skips. These first couple of rows that we planted are all real hardy and doing really well. They put out a lot of new growth. They're looking really green and strong. This one here is completely stripped down to nothing, but I'm gonna go ahead and water it a couple of times and just kind of see how things are going. I've got a little cherry tree that seems to be dying off, but it was in blossoms and had green leaves a week ago. I planted the new one just the other day with Bethany. That one looks dead, and that one's alive. So what we did last year, we had a skip up there. I think we ended up moving this one over a little bit. These were all free plants from a hay customer. And if they grow, they grow. If they don't, it's no big deal. But it just is kind of nice to have some built-in wind and snow break and a little bit of privacy. Especially when these trees are all not green, it's nice to have like a row of evergreens giving you some privacy and some wind and snow break from the field across the road. My husband actually had a hay customer laugh at him, literally laugh in his face the other day. The guy was here buying hay because he is going to do a hay seeding on his 2 acres, but he's got to go buy a grain drill, he said, and he wanted to buy a no-till grain drill. Little tip for you, your county extension offices offer free rental or borrowing of their drills that they have so that people with these small homesteads can get started in a little bit of farming and homesteading. It's really good for food plot planting and things like that, rows of sunflowers and whatever, but you have to be on, you know, their planting schedule and you got to deal with any maintenance issues some people may not be into. Well, the guy was getting ready to go buy his own drill, and we borrow ours from his dad. And the guy just thought, well, why don't you own a drill? Well, when you do hay or you do the things we do, you might not need the drill for years, and then it just sits there. We've actually been doing our own like inventory reduction. I just sold a federal grain cleaner. We sold our 4-bottom plow. We still have a 3-bottom plow and a IH 4 or 5-bottom plow. So we sold the John Deere one. We sold the fertilizer spreader last year. In general, we're not going back to grain. We're liking this organic, just doing hay and straw. Mostly we're just taking off the straw at this point from the neighbors because he doesn't need it. And then it just gives a bedding opportunity for us and for any of our hay customers that may need some bedding also, instead of running around town trying to find it at both places. In short, I don't know why all these farmers are always trying to one-up each other, expand their equipment, update their equipment, when they're not making any more money than the next guy. Now we have thought about replacing this with a V-rake because we break so many hay rake teeth, but there's got to be a way around that. It's served us well. We've had it for 10 years and we've pretty well gone through and rebuilt quite a bit of it. Probably the only thing we haven't done to it is actually adding new tires. We've added new tubes and new bearings, and he added different threading. He added different threaded rod last year because we couldn't make any adjustments on it, and that really improved the wear on the teeth a lot. And you just got to have it at the right adjustment. Every field is different because, you know, we have to raise and lower it for transport, and when you get there you have to make adjustments. So it's been a good handy rake, and you know, for our tractors it's perfect. I'd say it's especially perfect when your hay customers are trying to kick you in the balls and pay you $3 a bale of hay when you're asking for 8, and you're just hoping to try to get 5 with your first cutting. And you know what? That's why we feed our own cows, because they get the first cutting, we sell off the second and third, and we get by with anything that's surplus. Last year, with a lot of the local hay auctions getting sold, I think our on-farm hay sales really got a boost, and we're seeing a lot of return customers from that. So we're just hoping to see some more of that this year, so any of that income can help get reinvested with repairs, possibly new equipment, and anything else that we might need. At least we've got a nice breeze going on for today. It is a lot cooler, and the sun isn't blazing down on us so much. His dad hooked him up with his umbrella at my request because this guy hardly ever gets any sunburn, and of course it was his first day out. Short sleeve, white t-shirt, getting sunburned. So he's been wearing a long sleeve shirt, suffering through, you know, high 70s and low 80s. So this is a lot better situation for him. He's got his earphones, that helps a lot. He's listening to some radio station, having a good old time, just tractoring along. He woke up, he had a bagel, glass of tea, came right out. He's run the backhoe today and pulled his dad's truck. He started the backhoe, he's gone over to this. He's very, very helpful. As a matter of fact, his birthday is coming up, and he's going to be getting, likely, a buggy style canopy umbrella for his tractor. It wasn't so late in the day, and I wasn't running an hour late on dinner. I'd have walked out there, driven out with them. Looks like they've got a broken bale way far out over there to pick up. Trey is driving the truck with George in it, and Dad is picking up all the extra bales that were too many for the stack wagon. Now, it's not good for the alfalfa to drive all over it, so he may just pick that one up by feeding it into the baler to rebale it. He's got another one right here that's totally busted up. It's really hot. It was like 86 degrees maybe an hour ago, and it's supposed to start cooling down in the next hour. It is going to be a warm one. We've got the air conditioner running inside today. I've got some attic work upstairs to do, and I don't have any electric up there yet, so I'm having to run an extension cord to a window air conditioner. We gotta get that electric and heating and air going. I'm working on the insulation and it was just too hot to work up there today. I was trying to get it done before the heat wave, but you know, things come up, and I really didn't want to insulate while he's doing other things. That's the good thing about farming. You farm hard for a week or two, and then you've got some free time to do some other things. So then we'll be back at the farming for another cutting, and this has got one more section that needs to be cut. Trey was running the tedder this morning, the rake this afternoon. His dad was running the baler over here and the cutter way over there, and he's got one more section to cut. He was hoping to be able to get it all done in one, but we've never had this entire field ready all at once. Last year it was the north side of the hayfield and the other side of the waterway was ready about 2 weeks after this side. And this year there's no separating the waterway. He's just running it through. It's a lot more grassy than this newer seeding, but you know, basically you end up with a more grassy leaf in the middle of a bale by going straight across the way he is. It gets to be too much work trying to divide all these different hays by their maturity, by being more clover or alfalfa or more grass in the barn. Sometimes you can just kind of grab at a bale and know, hey, this is darker, this has got a lot of clover in it, and we're just directly feeding this to the cows instead of using what's left in the barn at this point to make sure that we are kind of separating off that clover, because it is way too rich and we don't want them to have too loose of stools. They need more fiber, and that triticale was really nice. Look at that. Got to snap a couple of snapshots at the same time here. What a beautiful truck. There's my boys. That's a good bunch of bales. Look at that. He can handle that truck like nothing. It is no problem for him. I was a little worried that he was going to head up more up into the barnyard over that way because there's stuff going on up there, but he knew, turn off, pick up one more bale.